Hi everyone, I am Minyoung Shin and I'm a first year doctoral student of Learning Design and Technology at University of Georgia, and in this video I will explain my design progress during last year, and my design is about the concept of activity for peer tutoring. And this idea basically from my research proposal. So in this presentation, I will explain my background and purpose of my study first, and then I will explain design progress based on the prototyping and the feedback. So here is the background of my study. So one of the problem in peer tutoring is that QT shows relatively low learning effect compared with the tutors. For example, tutors can kind of reflect their knowledge by learning and by the teaching activities, but relatively tutees just follow the tutor's lead. So in my study, I think those passive role of duties make them to passive nature of the role, make them to less participating, and also a lack of awareness of peers' perception about about certain topic make them to not engaging in, which means basically the peer tutoring activity based on the explanation about certain topics. But if you are not familiar with certain terms or certain expression about the topic, that will make some students to disengage about the the activities. So in my study, I would like to suggest drawing peers concept of activity, and I expect that it will facilitate their student participation in peer tutoring and also improve their awareness about each others. So the purpose of this experiment study is to test the effect of a reciprocal concept of activity on student participation, mutual understanding, and learning outcome in peer tutoring. So this is my initial design about the reciprocal peer tutoring activity. So as you can see, there are basically four phases, and at the very beginning, they will drawing the concept map individually first, and at the second phase, at the first step, tutor will explain on knowledge based on the map, and then tutor will drawing tutor's map based on the explanation. And the second step, tutor will explain on knowledge based on the map he or she drawing at the first page, and then tutor will drawing the tutor's map based on the explanation. And third page, they will do peer tutoring based this by discussion and using the map. And at the end of the activity, I would like to make them to drawing concept map again for reflection about their learning, and also for my uh, kind of data. But at the beginning of this semester, I realized that it would be better to focusing on the second phase because this is the key activity of my intervention, and so I would like to make it more applicable as much as possible. I would like to make it applicable as much as possible. Yeah, so I try to elaborate specific steps in second phase. But in my first prototype, I tried to apply my initial idea as same as possible because I want to see what happens. And but the kind of two key things was were these. So explanation with showing the concept map and drawing map while listening the explanation in second pace. So, but after I conducting my first prototyping, I got some feedback and I realized that all of those explanation with showing drawn concept map and simultaneous explaining and drawing map in second pace make them to more focus on drawing map activity rather than peer tutoring activity itself. So for my second prototype, I tried to make some certain guidance for each steps. So technically, the first pace is same, but at the second pace, at the very they when they explain their ideas, their knowledge, I guide them to do not show the concept of what they drawn at the first pace. And then after the explanation, another member of the peer tutoring will drawing the kind of another drawing the concept map based on their reasoning. And after they after they draw the map, and then they discuss to and revise the map based on the explanation. So I conducted another prototyping and I got another feedback that first one and the second one were pretty good. So it made them to focusing on the pure tutoring activity itself. But the third one, discussing and revising map after drawing map, is pretty hard to make them to do that because it's kind of when they drawing map after listening explanation, they are already kind of discuss to each other's pretty naturally. So I decide to decide to combine the sub steps rather than instead of the divided. And also I got another feedback that is about it will be better to give them the guidance for each step, because even though I give them to explanation or some things they need to keep in mind for each step, during peer tutoring activities, they usually for them it's pretty hard to remember what they need to do. So in my third prototype, I try to create guidance for each step, and also I thought that it will be better to make it will be better to add some function for data collection for my study, because for my study I would like to collect several constant map in several steps, so several paces. So I've tried to figure out what kind of functions I need, and here are three functions what I need. The first one is I would like to give them different guidance depending for each pace, depending on the roles, and also I would like it would be better for me to make them and also for them to make them to use a certain program, consummate program. In the case I can guide them or I guided them more easily, and also it will help me to analyze the data, and also I I try I need some function to collect the data, consummate data easily. So in the end, I decided to use the Cortex for my third prototype. So the first one can be applied in Cortex by using the display logic, and for the second one, I can use hyperlink for certain text. And for last one, I found that there is a function about file upload in Cortex, so I'm gonna use it. So now I'm working on to create the quarterics for my design ideas, and I think I will keep and as soon as possible, I will conduct my third prototyping, and also I think I will keep revise and prototyping again until I think will I can be sure that until I can be sure that I can apply my criteria to in my actual study. Thanks for watching my video, and if you have any question or suggestion, please contact my email. Thank you.